I remember the exact moment my life split in two. There was the life before that Tuesday afternoon, and then there was the life after. And the strange thing is, at the time, I almost didn't go to the pharmacy at all. I almost stayed home. My name is Laura Smith. I'm 43 years old, and I've been married to my husband David for almost 15 years. We live in a quiet neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio, in a house we bought when we were young and hopeful. The kind of house with a front porch and a backyard where we used to talk about planting a garden but never quite got around to it. That Tuesday started like any other. I woke up to the sound of the garbage truck grinding its way down our street. David had already left for work. He always left early, even before I opened my eyes. That was our rhythm. He'd kiss my forehead while I was still half asleep, and by the time I fully woke up, he was gone. I made coffee. I scrolled through my phone. I fed our cat, Mittens, who is 16 years old and acts like she owns the place, which she basically does. And I thought about all the things I needed to do that day. Groceries, laundry, call my mother. But there was one thing I kept putting off. I needed to pick up my vitamins. It sounds so small, doesn't it? Just a bottle of vitamins. But I have this condition, low iron, and my doctor wants me to take a specific supplement every day. I'd let my prescription run out, and then I'd let another week go by, and then another. The bottle on my kitchen counter was empty, and I could feel it in my body. That tiredness, that fog. So that Tuesday, I told myself, Laura, you have to go. You have to just get in the car and go. I didn't want to. I was comfortable on my couch. The day was gray and cold, the kind of October afternoon that makes you want to curl up under a blanket and not move until spring. But I made myself get up. I made myself put on shoes. I made myself drive to the pharmacy on the corner of Broad Street. I had no idea that this small act of forcing myself to do something I didn't want to do would save my life. The pharmacy was busy for a Tuesday. There was a line, which there never is on Tuesdays. Usually I walk right up to the counter, show my ID, and leave. But that day, 6 people were ahead of me. 6 people standing in that fluorescent-lit space, all of us staring at our phones or at the racks of greeting cards or at nothing at all. I was the 7th person. In front of me stood an older man. I didn't pay much attention at first. He was just another body in line. But then I noticed something. He was having trouble, real trouble. He stood at the counter with a small white paper bag in his hand, his prescription, and he was counting coins. Pennies mostly, nickels, a few dimes. They were spread out on the counter in front of him, and his hands were shaking so badly that he kept dropping them. One penny rolled off the edge and onto the floor. He bent down slowly, painfully, to pick it up. The cashier was a young woman with blonde hair pulled back tight. She looked tired. Her voice came out flat, like she'd said the same words 1,000 times before. "Sir, you're still short. It's $6.47. You have $4.23. The old man looked at the coins on the counter. He looked in his wallet. He patted his pockets. Nothing. "I'm sorry," he said. His voice was thin, old. "I thought I had enough. I could come back." Behind me, someone sighed loudly. A man in a business suit checked his watch and made a sound of impatience. A woman shifted her weight from foot to foot. I looked at the old man, really looked at him for the first time. He was probably in his 80s, thin. His coat was worn at the elbows, clean but old. His face was lined with years and something else, something heavy. His eyes had a glassy look, the kind you see in people who are tired in a way that sleep can't fix. And I didn't think. That's the thing I keep coming back to. I didn't think. I didn't weigh the options or consider the consequences or wonder what anyone would think of me. I just moved. I stepped forward, reached around the old man, and tapped my card on the reader. "Let me take care of it," I said. The cashier looked at me, surprised. The old man turned. His eyes met mine, and for a moment he didn't say anything. He just stared. His expression didn't change. No smile, no words of thanks. I expected him to argue. Some people do. They get proud, they get embarrassed. But he didn't argue. He just kept looking at me with those glassy eyes like he was seeing something I couldn't see. Then he leaned in close. So close I could smell the wool of his coat and something else. something like old books and winter air. He whispered, "When your husband brings you flowers tonight, don't put them in water. Leave them on the balcony. You'll understand in the morning." I froze. My mouth opened, but no words came out. I wanted to ask him what he meant, who he was, how he knew anything about my husband or flowers or anything at all. But before I could speak, he was gone. He picked up his small white bag, nodded once at the cashier, and walked out the door. He moved faster than I would have expected, faster than a man his age should be able to move. The automatic doors slid open, and then they slid shut behind him, and he was gone. I stood there at the counter, my card still in the machine, my heart beating in a way that felt wrong. Too fast, too loud. "Ma'am," the cashier was looking at me, "your receipt." I took it without seeing it. I walked out of the pharmacy without my vitamins. I stood on the sidewalk and looked up and down the street, but the old man had vanished, like he was never there at all. For a moment, I wondered if I'd imagined the whole thing. The line, the coins, the whisper. Maybe I was more tired than I thought. Maybe the low iron was affecting my brain. But no, I could still feel the warmth of his breath near my ear. I could still hear his words, clear as anything. "When your husband brings you flowers tonight, don't put them in water. Leave them on the balcony. You'll understand in the morning." I drove home in a daze. Before I tell you what happened next, I need to tell you about my life, about who I was before that Tuesday, because none of this will make sense if you don't understand the woman I used to be. My name is Laura Smith, and for most of my life, I've been what people call a good wife. I don't say that with pride or with shame. It's just a fact. I'm the kind of woman who remembers anniversaries and packs lunches and makes sure there's always milk in the fridge. I keep a tidy house. I pay the bills on time. I call my mother-in-law on her birthday even though she talks for an hour about nothing. I met David when I was 28. A friend set us up. Blind date at an Italian restaurant downtown. I almost canceled 3 times. I was tired from work, tired from dating, tired of meeting men who talked only about themselves. But I went, and David was different. He listened. He asked questions. He held the door open and didn't make a big deal about it. He had kind eyes and a quiet way of speaking that made me feel like I was the only person in the room. By the end of the night, I knew I wanted to see him again. We married 2 years later. Small wedding, backyard reception. My mother cried. His father gave a toast that went on too long but was sweet anyway. We were happy. The kind of happy that feels solid, like something you can build a life on. And we did build a life, not a perfect one whose life is perfect, but a good one. We bought the house on Elm Street. We got mittens from the shelter when she was just a tiny kitten. We talked about having children, but it never happened. At first we were sad about it. Then we accepted it. Then we stopped talking about it at all. David works in finance. He leaves early and comes home late. That's always been our arrangement. I work part-time at a local bookstore, mostly because I love books and I love being around people who love books. It doesn't pay much, but it gives me something to do, something that's mine. Our marriage settled into a comfortable rhythm. Quiet evenings, takeout on Fridays, weekends spent doing chores and watching movies and sometimes going for walks when the weather was nice. It wasn't exciting, but it was steady, and I thought steady was enough. I thought I knew my husband. I thought I knew everything about him, his habits, his preferences, the way he took his coffee, black, 1 sugar, the way he hummed in the shower, the way he always left his socks on the bedroom floor no matter how many times I asked him not to. I thought I knew what our life was. But here's the thing about steady. Sometimes steady is just another word for not paying attention. In the months before that Tuesday, I'd been feeling off. Not sick exactly, but not right either. Tired in a way that sleep didn't fix. Foggy. Like my brain was wrapped in cotton. Some days I'd forget simple things, why I walked into a room, what I was supposed to buy at the grocery store, a word that was right on the tip of my tongue. I blamed it on stress, on getting older, on the low iron. I went to my doctor and she ran tests and everything came back normal. "Maybe it's just life," she said with a small smile. "Try to rest more." so I tried to rest more. It didn't help. David noticed. Of course he noticed. He'd ask me if I was okay, and I'd say I was fine. He'd suggest I see a specialist, and I'd say I already saw my doctor. He'd bring me tea and sit with me on the couch, and I'd lean my head on his shoulder and feel grateful for having such a caring husband. He started bringing me flowers around that time. Just because, he'd say, just because I love you, just because you deserve something pretty, just because. At first it was once a month, then every 2 weeks, always lilies, always fresh and beautiful, wrapped in paper with a little packet of flower food. He'd come through the door with a smile in that bouquet, and he'd kiss my cheek and say, "For you." I thought it was romantic. I thought it was his way of showing love when words weren't enough. I put those lilies in vases all over the house, on the kitchen table, on my nightstand, on the bathroom counter where I could see them while I brushed my teeth. They made me happy. They made me feel seen. I didn't know they were making me sick. I didn't know a lot of things. That Tuesday, after the pharmacy, I drove home on autopilot. I pulled into the driveway and sat in the car for a long time, the engine off, the cold seeping in through the windows. I kept replaying the old man's words in my head. When your husband brings you flowers tonight, don't put them in water. Leave them on the balcony. How did he know David would bring flowers? David didn't bring flowers every day. There was no reason to think he'd bring them tonight. It didn't make any sense. Unless the old man wasn't talking about any night. Unless he was talking about this specific night. Tonight. I shook my head. It was crazy. I was being crazy. The old man was probably confused, probably had dementia, probably thought I was someone else. There was no way he could know anything about my husband or my marriage. But before we continue, I want to extend a very special invitation to you. Subscribe the channel and leave a like. This helps me see that you support me and enjoy my stories, and comment down below which city you are watching us from right now. Let's continue. I went inside. I fed Mittens. I started dinner. I tried to forget the whole thing. But I couldn't. Every few minutes, his voice came back to me. That whisper. Those strange words. I'd be chopping vegetables and suddenly my hands would stop, and I'd just stand there, staring at nothing, thinking about flowers and balconies and things I didn't understand. David came home at his usual time, just after 7. I heard his key in the lock, heard the door open and close, heard him call out, "Laura, I'm home." And then I saw them. A bouquet of fresh lilies, white and pink, wrapped in brown paper, tied with a simple ribbon. He was holding them out to me, smiling that smile I'd seen 1,000 times. "For you," he said. He kissed my cheek. "Just because." I took the flowers. My hands felt cold. My heart was beating too fast again. "They're beautiful," I said. My voice sounded strange to me, far away. "I passed that little flower shop on High Street," he said, hanging his coat in the closet. "They had these in the window and I thought of you. You've been so tired lately. I wanted to do something nice." I looked down at the lilies. They really were beautiful. Fresh and perfect, not a single bruised petal. "Don't put them in water. Leave them on the balcony." I couldn't do it. I couldn't follow the instructions of a stranger I'd met for 2 minutes. That was crazy. That was the kind of thing people did in movies, not in real life. I reached for a vase. And then I stopped. I don't know why I stopped. I don't know what made me hesitate. Maybe it was the way David was watching me. Maybe it was something in his expression, a flicker of something I couldn't name. Or maybe it was just that old man's voice still echoing in my head. I put the flowers down on the kitchen counter. "You know," I said, trying to sound casual, "I think I'll enjoy them more if I put them outside first, just for a little while. The fresh air might do them good." David's smile didn't change. If anything, it got a little wider. "Sure," he said, "whatever you want." I carried the bouquet to the balcony door. I slid it open, stepped out into the cold October night, and placed the lilies on the small metal table we kept out there. They looked strange sitting in the dark, all alone, no water, no vase. I stood there for a moment, looking at them. Then I went back inside and slid the door shut. David was in the living room, turning on the TV. "Dinner smells good," he said. "I'm starving." We ate dinner like we always did. We talked about our days. I told him about the bookstore, about a customer who'd spent an hour looking for a specific book and then left without buying anything. He told me about a meeting that ran too long. Normal stuff, regular stuff. But underneath the normal, something was different. I felt it the whole night. A strange awareness, like I was watching myself from outside my own body. Every move David made, every word he said, I noticed in a new way. The way his eyes lingered on me. The way he asked if I was feeling okay. The way he glanced toward the balcony door. Twice. I saw him glance at the balcony door twice. Around 10 o'clock, I said I was tired and went to bed. David stayed up to watch the news. I lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the muffled sounds of the TV. I thought about calling my sister. I thought about calling my mother. I thought about calling anyone who could tell me I wasn't losing my mind. But I didn't call anyone. I just lay there, waiting for morning. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I drifted in and out, my mind spinning with questions I couldn't answer. Who was that old man? How did he know about the flowers? What was I supposed to understand in the morning? Around 3 a.m., I heard David come to bed. He moved quietly, the way he always did when he thought I was asleep. I felt the mattress shift as he lay down. I felt his arm brush against my back. I held my breath and kept my eyes closed. In the morning, I woke before him. That was unusual. Usually he was gone before I even opened my eyes. But it was Saturday, no work, and he was still asleep beside me. I slipped out of bed quietly. I pulled on my robe, and I walked to the balcony door. My heart was pounding. My hands were shaking. I didn't know what I expected to see. Wilted flowers, frozen petals, nothing at all. I slid the door open and stepped outside. The air was cold and sharp. The sky was just starting to lighten, pale gray with hints of pink. And on the table, the lilies were still there, still arranged in their bouquet, still wrapped in their brown paper. But something was wrong. I saw it immediately. The petals, which had been pristine the night before, were covered in something. A fine powder, pale yellow, almost invisible in the dim light. At first I thought it was pollen, but it was too thick, too evenly spread. It coated the flowers like dust. I leaned closer, and then I smelled it. Sharp chemical, wrong. This wasn't the sweet smell of flowers. This was something else, something that made my stomach turn. I touched one of the petals. My finger came away coated in that yellow powder. It felt slick, almost oily. I rubbed it between my fingers, and it left a residue that didn't wash off with just friction. And then I looked down. The table underneath the bouquet was dusted with the same powder. The floor tiles below, even the bottom of the balcony railing, where the powder had drifted in the night air. It was everywhere. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the bugs. Tiny black specks scattered all around the flowers. Dozens of them, maybe more. They were dead. Insects, small flies, maybe, or something else, had gathered around the lilies during the night. And now they lay on their backs, legs curled, surrounding the bouquet in a circle of death. I stumbled backward. My hand flew to my mouth. Something in those flowers had killed them. Something in those flowers was poison. I stood there for a long moment, the cold air biting through my robe, my mind racing. Then I heard a sound behind me. The bedroom door opening. "Laura," David's voice, sleepy, confused. "What are you doing out there?" I turned around. He was standing in the doorway, rubbing his eyes, his hair messy from sleep. He looked like the man I'd married, the man I loved, the man I thought I knew. "Just checking the flowers," I said. My voice came out surprisingly steady. "They're beautiful in the morning light." He smiled, that same smile. "Told you they were nice." He walked toward the kitchen to start coffee. I watched him go. Then I turned back to the balcony, grabbed the bouquet, and carried it inside. I couldn't leave it out there. I couldn't let him see what I'd seen. Not yet, not until I understood. I wrapped the flowers in a plastic bag from under the sink and hid them in the back of the hall closet. Then I took a shower. A long, hot shower. I scrubbed my hands until they were raw. When I came out, David had coffee ready. He was sitting at the kitchen table, reading something on his phone. "Feeling okay?" he asked. "You seem quiet." "Just tired," I said. "Didn't sleep great." He nodded, accepting this. Why wouldn't he? I was always tired. That was normal now. But nothing about this was normal. Later that morning, David went out to run errands. As soon as his car pulled out of the driveway, I grabbed the bag with the flowers and got in my own car. I drove to the one place I could think of. My cousin Rachel works at the state university. She's a research scientist, something to do with chemistry and toxicology. We're not close, not like we were when we were kids, but we've always stayed in touch. Birthdays, holidays, the occasional lunch. I called her from the car. "Rachel, it's Laura. I need your help with something. It's weird. It's really weird, but I don't know who else to ask." She agreed to meet me at her lab. An hour later, I was sitting in a sterile room full of beakers and machines I couldn't name, watching my cousin examine the lilies with a frown. "Where did you get these?" she asked. "David brought them home last night. Why?" She didn't answer right away. She used a pair of tweezers to lift one of the petals, holding it up to the light. She scraped some of the yellow powder onto a slide. She put it under a microscope and studied it for a long, silent minute. Finally, she looked up at me. Her face was pale. "Laura, this isn't pesticide. It's not any kind of agricultural treatment I've seen. This is synthetic, engineered. It's designed to be absorbed through skin." I stared at her. "What does that mean?" She put the slide down carefully. "It means that if you'd handled these flowers without protection, if you'd put them in water, arranged them, touched them throughout the day, you would have absorbed this compound through your skin. Slowly, over time. It's not fast-acting. It's cumulative. It builds up." My legs felt weak. I sat down heavily in the nearest chair. "Cumulative," I repeated. Days, weeks, months of exposure, enough to make someone sick. Confused, tired, eventually. She trailed off. Eventually what? Rachel looked at me with an expression I'd never seen on her face before. Fear, real fear. Eventually, organ failure. It would look natural, like a slow decline, like a body just giving out. I thought about the past months, the fatigue, the brain fog, the way I'd blamed it on everything except what it really was. I thought about the flowers, all those flowers, week after week, month after month. I thought about David's smile, his kisses, his gentle concern. "Oh God," I whispered. Rachel reached across the table and took my hand. "Laura, you need to tell me everything. Where did these flowers really come from? Who gave them to you?" I told her. I told her about the pharmacy, the old man, the warning. I told her about David bringing me lilies for months. I told her about the dead insects on the balcony, the powder, the chemical smell. When I finished, Rachel was quiet for a long time. "You need to go to the police," she said finally. "The police? And tell them what? My husband brought me flowers." "Poisoned flowers. This is a crime, Laura." I shook my head. "I don't have proof. I don't have anything except your analysis, and even that, what does it prove? That someone sprayed something on some flowers. It could have happened at the florist. It could have been an accident." "You don't believe that?" No, I didn't believe that, but I didn't know what to believe. David was my husband. I'd loved him for 15 years. The idea that he'd been slowly poisoning me, it was too big, too horrible. My mind couldn't hold it. "Give me a few days," I said. "Let me figure this out." Rachel didn't like it, but she agreed. She gave me her personal number. She made me promise to call if anything else happened. She kept the flowers for testing. I drove home in a fog. The next few days were the longest of my life. I went through the motions. I made coffee. I fed Mittens. I went to work at the bookstore and smiled at customers and recommended books I'd never read. I came home and made dinner and sat across from David and pretended everything was normal. But I was watching, always watching. I noticed things I'd never noticed before. The way David's eyes followed me when I took my vitamins in the morning. The way he asked, so casually, if I was feeling any better. The way he suggested I see a different doctor, a specialist, someone who might run more tests. I noticed the dates on the flower receipts I found in the trash. Every 2 weeks, like clockwork, the same florist, or so I'd always assumed. I called that florist. "Hi," I said, trying to keep my voice light. "I'm trying to track down an order my husband placed recently. Lilies, under the name David Smith." A pause on the other end. Then, "Ma'am, we have no record of any orders under that name, not in the past 6 months." My blood ran cold. "Are you sure? He brings me flowers all the time. He said he got them from your shop." "I'm sorry, we haven't had lilies in weeks. Our supplier had issues. Maybe he went somewhere else." Maybe he did, or maybe he never went to a florist at all. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed next to David, listening to his breathing, feeling the warmth of his body inches from mine. And I thought about all the nights I'd slept beside him, trusting him, loving him, while he planned my slow death. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake him awake and demand answers. But I didn't. I kept still. I kept quiet. Because if he was capable of this, he was capable of anything. The next day, I did something I never thought I'd do. I waited until David left for work, and then I went into his study. He kept it locked. I knew that. He'd told me it was for work, for confidential client files, for things I didn't need to worry about, and I'd never questioned it. Why would I? But now I had a key. I'd found it weeks ago in the laundry room, stuck to a magnet on the inside of the dryer. I'd forgotten to give it back. Or maybe, without knowing it, I'd kept it for a reason. The key turned smoothly in the lock. The door swung open. The study was small. A desk, a bookshelf, a filing cabinet, nothing unusual. I started with the desk, opening drawers carefully, trying to leave everything exactly as I found it. Most of it was boring. Tax documents, bank statements, old receipts. But in the bottom drawer, beneath a stack of manila folders, I found something that made my heart stop. A metal box, small, locked. I searched for the key. I checked every drawer, every pocket, every folder. Nothing. I sat back on my heels, thinking, the key had to be somewhere. He wouldn't keep it in the study, that would be too obvious. But where? And then I remembered. The bathroom, his side of the medicine cabinet. There was an old shaving kit in there, one he never used. I'd almost thrown it out a dozen times. I went to the bathroom, opened the medicine cabinet, reached behind the toothpaste and the spare razor. My fingers touched leather. The shaving kit had a small zippered compartment. Inside, a single key. 5 minutes later, I was back in the study, hands shaking as I unlocked the metal box. Inside, a burner phone. The kind you buy at a convenience store with cash. No identifying marks. No case, just a cheap phone with a cracked screen. I turned it on. It had power, he kept it charged. And it had messages, just one thread. No contact name, just a number. I scrolled through, my eyes moving faster and faster, my breath catching in my throat. She's still taking them. No change yet. The lilies are ready. Pick up Thursday. Timing needs to be right. Don't rush. Another 6 weeks max. Then we move to the next phase. She suspects nothing. It's working perfectly. All sent from this phone. All signed with no name. I read them twice, 3 times. I took photos of every single message with my own phone. I took photos of the phone itself, the box, the drawer where I'd found it. Then I put everything back exactly as I'd found it. The phone in the box in the drawer, the key in the shaving kit. I locked the study door behind me. I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, staring at nothing. The man I loved wanted me dead. Not in a moment of anger, not in a fit of passion. Slowly, carefully, deliberately. He'd been planning it for months, maybe longer. He'd been bringing me poison wrapped in pretty paper, watching me get sicker and sicker, waiting for the moment when my body would finally give out. And no one would ever know. Everyone would say what a tragedy. What a wonderful husband he was, so devoted, so caring. He'd grieve publicly. He'd move on. He'd collect the life insurance. I was sure there was life insurance and start over. I thought about calling the police right then, walking into the station with my photos and Rachel's analysis and telling them everything. But I didn't. Because I knew that David was smart. Smarter than me, probably. If I went to the police too soon, he'd find a way to explain it away. He'd say I was confused, emotional, making things up. He'd destroy the evidence. He'd walk free. And then what? No, I needed help. Real help. The kind of help that came from someone who'd seen this before. Someone who knew how to build a case that couldn't be broken. I needed my godmother. Aunt Diane isn't really my aunt. She's my godmother, which in my family means something between a relative and a friend. She's known me since I was born. She was at every birthday party, every graduation, every important moment of my life. She's also retired FBI. 27 years in the Bureau. White-collar crime mostly, but she'd seen it all. Fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy, and yes, domestic cases. Spouses who tried to kill spouses. Families torn apart by greed and betrayal. We hadn't spoken in months. Life gets busy. But when I called her that night, she picked up on the first ring. "Laura, it's late. Everything okay?" "No," I said. "Everything is not okay." I told her everything. The pharmacy, the old man, the flowers, Rachel's analysis, the burner phone, the messages. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. "Where are you now?" she asked. "Home. David's in the living room watching TV." "Can you talk?" "I'm in the bathroom with the water running." "Good girl." Another pause. "Laura, listen to me carefully. You did the right thing calling me. You did the right thing not confronting him. If he's capable of this, he's capable of worse. You understand?" "Yes." "We're going to build a case. A solid one. But you need to be careful. You need to act normal. You need to give me time to make some calls. Can you do that?" I thought about lying next to him every night, eating meals with him, smiling and talking and pretending I didn't know. "I can do it," I said. "That's my girl." Over the next 2 weeks, Aunt Diane became my secret partner. She gave me instructions, tiny cameras, audio recorders, places to hide them, ways to use them. I learned to keep conversations going, to ask questions that seemed innocent but got him talking, to notice when he slipped. And he did slip, little things at first. "Once everything settles down," he said one night, "maybe we should think about moving. Somewhere warmer, start fresh." I nodded like it was a lovely idea. "Where would we go?" "Oh, I don't know. Florida maybe, somewhere with beaches." He was planning a future without me, a future where I was gone and he was free. Another time, he mentioned life insurance, casually like it was nothing. "You know, we should review our policies, make sure we're covered just in case." "Just in case of what?" He laughed. "You know, life." I smiled. I nodded. And that night, while he slept, I downloaded the audio files and sent them to Aunt Diane. Rachel, meanwhile, was doing her own work. She traced the compound on the flowers to a private lab in another state, a lab that had been investigated twice for illegal practices, a lab whose records showed a name she recognized. David's name. Not directly, nothing that obvious, but a consultant, a financial backer, someone who'd invested money and asked few questions. It wasn't proof of attempted murder, not yet, but it was proof of connection, proof that David was deeper in this than we'd thought. The break came on a Thursday. David had a late meeting, or so he said. I used the time to check the study again to see if anything had changed, and that's when I found it. A document, printed not digital, hidden in a folder labeled taxes old. It was a life insurance policy, on me, for $2 million. $2 million. The beneficiary, David Smith. The date, 8 months ago. 8 months before the flowers started. 8 months before I began feeling sick. I stared at that piece of paper for a long time. $2 million. That was the price of my life. That was what David thought I was worth. I took photos. I sent them to Aunt Diane. And then I sat in the dark study, in the house I'd shared with my husband for 15 years, and I let myself feel everything. Grief, rage, fear, and underneath it all, something I hadn't expected. Clarity. I knew what I had to do. Aunt Diane came to Columbus the next day. She brought a friend, a retired prosecutor named Margaret who'd handled cases like this before. We met in a coffee shop far from my neighborhood, far from anyone who might know me. Margaret looked at my evidence, the photos, the audio, Rachel's analysis, the insurance policy. "This is enough," she said. "More than enough, we can go to the authorities now." I nodded. I was ready. But there was one thing I had to do first. I had to find the old man. I went back to the pharmacy every day for a week. I showed his picture. I'd gotten a still from the security camera, blurry but recognizable, to everyone who worked there. No one remembered him. No one had seen him before or since. I put up a notice on community boards. I checked with nearby churches and senior centers. Nothing. It was like he'd appeared just to save me, and then vanished. I never found him. I don't know who he was or how he knew. Sometimes I think he was an angel. Sometimes I think he was just a man who saw something he wasn't supposed to see and did the right thing. I'll never know for sure. But I think about him every day. I thank him every day. The takedown happened on a Tuesday morning, 3 weeks after the pharmacy, 2 weeks after I started working with Aunt Diane. I told David I was going to the bookstore. Instead, I went to a safe location, a hotel room Diane had arranged, and watched everything unfold on a video feed. Police officers approached our house. David answered the door in his bathrobe, coffee in hand, looking confused. They showed him a warrant. They read him his rights. His face changed. That smile I'd seen 1,000 times, crumbled into something ugly. Panic, rage, fear. He looked around, searching for me. I wasn't there. I'd never be there again. They found everything. The burner phone, the messages, the insurance policy, the lab connections. They found flowers in the garage, new ones, waiting to be given to me. They found enough evidence to put him away for a very long time. He tried to fight it. He hired lawyers. He made deals. But the evidence was too strong. The case was too solid. In the end, he pleaded guilty to attempted murder. Not because he wanted to, but because the alternative was worse. A trial would have exposed everything. His connections, his plans, his cold, calculated heart. He's in prison now. Maximum security. He'll be there for a long time. I don't hate him. That surprised me. I thought I would. I thought I'd spend my life consumed by anger and bitterness. But hate takes energy, and I've used all my energy surviving. Sometimes I feel sad for him. Not for what he did, that was unforgivable, but for what he could have been. The man I married. The man I loved. Somewhere along the way, that man disappeared. Greed replaced him, or something darker. I'll never understand it. I've started therapy. It helps. I talk about the betrayal, the fear, the months of being slowly poisoned without knowing. I talk about trust and how to build it again when someone you loved tried to destroy you. I still live in Columbus. Different house, different neighborhood, different life. I kept the cat. Mittens is 17 now, still acting like she owns the place. She sleeps on my bed and wakes me up at 5 a.m. demanding food, and I love her for it. Some things, at least, stay the same. I go to the pharmacy on Broad Street sometimes. Not the same one. That location closed a few months after everything happened. But I go to other pharmacies, other stores, other places where people wait in line for ordinary things. And I watch. I watch for old men with shaking hands and glassy eyes. I watch for people who might need help. I watch for moments when a small act of kindness could change everything. Because that's what happened to me. A stranger saw me struggling, not with coins, not with money, but with something I didn't even know I needed help with, and he stepped forward. He gave me a warning that saved my life. I want to be that for someone else. I want to be the person who notices. It's been 2 years now. 2 years since that Tuesday at the pharmacy. 2 years since an old man whispered words that changed everything. 2 years since I learned that the person closest to me was the person I should have feared most. I think about him sometimes. The old man. I wonder where he is, if he's okay, if he knows what his words set in motion. I wonder if he was someone's guardian angel, or if he was just an ordinary person who saw something extraordinary and acted on it. I never got to thank him. That's the one thing I wish I could change. I wish I could find him, look him in the eyes, and tell him what his kindness meant. Tell him that I'm alive because of him. Tell him that I'm okay. But maybe that's not how these things work. Maybe some people are sent into our lives for just a moment, just long enough to point us in the right direction, and then they disappear. Maybe that's their purpose. I've started volunteering at a senior center. 2 afternoons a week. I read to people whose eyesight is failing. I listen to stories from people who have lived through things I can't imagine. I play cards with a woman named Alina who always wins and always laughs when she does. It's not about finding the old man anymore. I know I won't find him. It's about being the kind of person he was, the kind who notices, the kind who helps. The divorce was finalized last year. I didn't fight for much. Just the house, the cat, and my freedom. David's lawyers tried to make it difficult, but there's only so much they can do when their client is in prison for attempted murder. I don't visit him. I don't write. I don't think about him, not really. He's part of my past now, and I'm learning to keep the past where it belongs. My family has been wonderful. My mother calls every Sunday. My sister comes over for dinner once a week. Rachel and I have gotten closer. Trauma does that sometimes. We talk about things we never used to talk about. Life, death, the strange paths we find ourselves on. Aunt Diane is still my rock. She checks in on me, makes sure I'm okay, reminds me how strong I am. She's the one who taught me that strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up, every time. I still work at the bookstore. I love it more than ever. There's something peaceful about being surrounded by stories, other people's lives, other people's journeys. It reminds me that everyone is fighting something, everyone has a story, and most of those stories we never get to hear. Sometimes customers come in who look tired, who look lost, who look like they're carrying something heavy, and I try to be kind. I try to give them a little extra time, a little extra attention, because I know what it's like to need something and not know how to ask for it. The lilies don't bother me anymore. At first they did. I couldn't see them without feeling sick. But time does its work and wounds heal, and now when I see lilies, I think about something else. I think about survival. I think about second chances. I think about the fact that beauty can be deceiving, but it can also be real. I have a small balcony in my new apartment. It faces east, so I get the morning sun. I keep plants out there now. Real plants. Healthy ones. Geraniums and herbs and a little tomato plant that produces fruit so sweet it makes me smile every time. I water them every day. I touch their leaves. I breathe in their scent. And I think about how different life is now. How different I am. That woman who stood in line at the pharmacy, the one who almost didn't go, the one who was tired and foggy and didn't know why, she's gone now. In her place is someone who pays attention, someone who trusts her instincts, someone who knows that the universe sometimes speaks in whispers, and it's our job to listen. I don't know what the future holds. None of us do, but I'm not afraid of it anymore. Whatever comes, I'll face it, I'll handle it, I'll survive. Because I've survived the worst. And if I can survive that, I can survive anything. The old man taught me that, not in words but in action. He saw a stranger in need and he helped. He didn't ask for anything in return. He didn't wait for thanks. He just did what was right and then he disappeared. That's the kind of person I want to be. So if you're listening to this story, if you're driving home from work or cooking dinner or lying in bed unable to sleep, I want you to know something. Pay attention. Notice the people around you, the ones who look tired, the ones who look lost, the ones who might need a kind word or a small act of help. You never know what someone else is carrying. You never know what small moment might change their life. And if you ever find yourself in a pharmacy, standing behind an old man who's struggling to count coins, do what I did. Step forward. Help. Because that old man might not need the money. He might need something else entirely. He might need to pass along a message that could save a life. Maybe even yours. My name is Laura Smith. I'm 45 years old. I live in Columbus, Ohio, with a very old cat and a balcony full of flowers. And I am alive. I am so alive. Thank you for listening to this story. If it touched you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. You never know what difference a small moment of kindness can make.